Hey, Danny, Maritime Insulators. So here we have someone that did some insulation and vapor barrier. It's a wall that meets up to a roof slope that's insulated. Now, although this will do, there's a better way of doing this. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and redo this and show you how Maritime Insulators would do this. So a little trick that you want to do if you got exposed acoustical on the beams or on the floor, if you drop it somewhere, to save a lot of headache, just take a piece of tape, install the tape over it, and then that way you save a lot of mess. If you hit it, then it's not getting everywhere. Okay, so now what I did is get rid of this plastic, expose this beam on the roof slope, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take foam board 2-inch, and I'm going to cut it the length of this and the depth, and I'm going to shove it in here in each one, insulate down to it, run the plastic down, put a bead of acoustical, and we'll tidy this all up and make a nice little corner. Now to cut the 2-inch foam board, what I suggest doing is, if there's a piece of 2x6 around, because this is 2x6, grab a piece of that, and then we'll measure this, and we'll just lay the 2x6 down on the foam board, and we can make a nice cut along that, and we'll make a nice straight edge. So, okay, so we got a piece of 2-inch foam board and a 2x6 for a measuring guide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this lip off. Take this 2x6 and put it down along the one edge. We'll take the knife and make a kind of a score line. And we're going to do it a couple times. Try to keep the knife straight, not like this, so it doesn't get an angle on your cut. Keep your fingers back on the other side of the 2x6 so you don't cut it. There. Another way to do this if you don't have a 2x6 is you measure the 2x6. If you should already know it, it's 5.5 inches. So what you do is you make a mark 5.5 inches. Just have your blade out a little bit. Put your blade on the mark. Your tape measure up tight, and then put your finger, and then just slide down along, and that will give you your 5.5 inches. So now you get a piece. This is actually exactly 2x6. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the blade of the knife back. I'm going to use this for a marker. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball the angle. Eyeball the angle. And then I'm going to take the knife, mark down each stud. And that will give us our angle cut. Here's my angle. Just slowly cut straight down. Got my angle, it's a little off. Straighten it up a little. Same to this one. There's my straight line, there's my angle. Done correctly, this should fit in fairly well. Let's just test it out. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just double check. And they all seem to fit, so we need 6 of these. Make sure you use the same one as a marker, because if you keep using a different one, if you change a little bit every time, it will get off by the time you're on your 6th one. So always just make a little M for markers. So now what we're going to do, take one of these, we're going to put some acoustical on this end and that end, shove it into place, and then this plastic right here, this will seal to this side, the insulation will come down to here, and then we'll run a piece of plastic and seal to this. Alright, so take the acoustical, put a good amount there because it will hold it in place, but try not to get too excessive because it will be messy. You can always add a little later just as you, if there's any edges that need to be air sealed off. So what I'll do is after this is in place, down on each end, and down on the bottom and on the top end, I'll just put a bead of acoustical, just it will hold it into place. So now this one got a piece of wood going up there, so what we're going to have to do is notch this out to fit it in around there so it does a nice fit. So I'll just mark it there. Take my knife and put a little marking behind the stud. And this you can kind of guess a bit. It's 1.5 inches, so I'm going to guess it. A little tight, so I'm just going to shave a little bit off. There, fits good. Same thing. Acoustic on this end. This stuff is so messy. Now, just to help these stay in place a little bit better, and I got acoustical on the ends, tidy them up, you don't get in a mess. I'm going to take a piece of tuck tape, just run down it, fast a little bit, and this one I got a little extra acoustical, so just run that up to there. Plus it will hold them in place. So. Okay, so I took my back because I want to have a nice angle fit. I held it up in place. I marked on the top stud and the bottom stud. That gives me an angle. Put a board over it. Stretch it, squeeze down, cut. And this should fit in nice and tight. Nice, perfect. So I laid out my vapor barrier to get the length because I want it from here, this wall, right to here. So I'll cut that. And if you got these fitting tight, they will stay in place. But if you really want to make sure that these aren't going to fall out of place, you can always just take a screw and just insert it in the bottom and screw it in just enough just to hold it in place. So there you have it. To me, this looks a lot better. It does a better job. It's got a nice finish here. I got it sealed nice. Acoustic the whole way down along. You want to make sure there's no gaps. Insulation down to the bottom. And taped at the top. Ready for gyprock. So that's how we want it done by Maritime Insulators.